my God, I hate my laugh. That's not going to be the intro. Fuck that.
He was just mimicking the guy.
No, he wasn't. The dog was straight up cross-eyed with his tongue hanging out of his
Dude, my pussy would dry up so fast.
Oh my God.
I'd be like, stop.
And that's the story of the weirdest threesome I've ever had. And also
Wait, can I cheers to that? Because I feel like we've all kind of had a weird dog. Story. Dude, my dog would literally jump on the bed and lay at the foot like nothing was happening.
Can you guys stop bouncing the bed, please? I'm trying to take a
For
nap.
real, my dog would just like sit up, look at us, and just crawl on the bed, end of the bed and lay down. Like, that was the spot. I mean, it was actually better than that though, because I did not
Can
want
you
to
guys
get
stop
turned off.
bouncing the bed? I'm trying to take a nap.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Oops.
Our bad actually. Moved to a different location.
So, welcome to episode 3 of our Pink Flag podcast.
y'all.
I'm Lindsay Holmes, one of your hosts.
And I'm Emma Knudsen.
And
And you can tell that we are in a different spot tonight.
we are in a different spot.
We are in our new studio tonight. And
new
shout out
podcast
to,
location. Who dis?
yeah, shout out to Justin. Thank you, guy.
Oh,
this is actually a really great spot.
Millionaire in the Making podcast.
Yeah.
That will be launching soon.
Yeah, I think he said in the next 3 weeks.
Super exciting.
Yeah, by the end of the month.
I mean, I really want to be a millionaire, so I'm looking forward to listening to that.
Yes, Millionaire in the Making.
Marilyn Monroe in the Women Love Blondes movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie so much, but there's a man who says something to her about, oh, well, you just want a man with money. And she's like, well, you just want a woman who's beautiful. If you are picking out a wife for your son, you're going to pick out a beautiful woman,
Mhm.
right? If
Right.
a woman is picking out a man for her daughter, she's probably going to pick out someone that can provide.
Provide for her.
For her daughter.
Right. Because if a man is not fulfilled in his career and not stable with money financially, he's going to be very insecure in that relationship. Like, and there are some rare relationships that I feel like work with women being the breadwinners, but not many.
So
It's not
everyone,
natural.
tonight you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. Emma is the epitome of health, but I'm feeling a little sick. So for anyone wondering, we've gotten so many notes and compliments on our podcast.
Yes, thank you
for-
guys so much. We appreciate, and any kind of sort of feedback you can give us, we appreciate that. Any topics you want us to talk about, please.
Absolutely. We
throw 'em our way.
love people sending us questions. We've gotten so many of those, or like tips, or we have one great question that if we don't touch on this podcast, we'll definitely touch on the next one because it's really amazing. But thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in so far, who has
Yeah.
listened, who has supported. Dana.
Yes, Dana, we love you. And everybody else also. Like, it's
Absolutely.
huge. The messages I get from people I haven't talked to in years from back
Yeah.
home, like, it truly means a lot that you guys are actually.
I've had a few
taking the time.
ex-boyfriends be like, "Are you talking about me?" Be like, "Bold of you to assume that I remember who you are."
If the shoe fits, lace that bitch up and wear it.
So, for anyone wondering, this week I am not feeling my best. Got a little touch of some sort of bug that's going around. And I know, so when I get sick, Emma and I, we are drastically different people. So
Yes.
when I get sick, I want to be the baby. And maybe this is my only child syndrome kicking in.
It probably is.
But I very much so, when I get sick, I'm like, I'm sick, take care of me. So I want to be like pampered.
Yeah. I grew up with 3 siblings, so it was kind of just like, if you got sick, if anything happened to you, it was just like, oh, I got shit to do with these other siblings, so like, just go lay in bed.
Go take care of yourself.
Take
Don't
care
die.
of yourself. Yeah, my mom would make me soup sometimes. Shout out to mama. But so I've kind of learned to. I just want to be on my own when I'm sick. Like I love to just stay home, lay in bed for like 3 days, sleep it all off, watch movies by myself. And I feel like I'm super, super, super gross when I'm sick. You know, just like I feel gross.
Mm-hmm.
You lay in bed for a couple days, like, you just feel nasty. So I just don't want anybody else around me.
Oh, I want someone around me to take
Unless
care
you're like
of
my
me.
husband. Like if we're married,
Nope.
I mean, don't lay in the bed with me, but like bring me food. Yeah, for sure.
No, I made my brother bring me medicine recently.
Really?
I was like, I don't feel good. Go get me meds. Shout out to my brother, who's
Shout out to
amazing.
her brother, man. I'd probably be
But-
DoorDashing that shit.
That's what I was
Or
going to say. So
Instacarting.
I know you and I talked about something. So I was in a long distance relationship for a long time. And there was one point where I got sick or something. And he DoorDashed food to my house, which was like hands down one of the sweetest things ever because I was
Yeah.
feeling awful. And sometimes when you're feeling bad, especially if you're home, like you don't necessarily want to have to entertain people.
Yeah, and if you're dealing with it alone too,
Yeah.
it's a nice little thoughtful thing. And if he knows, like, that's a certain love language kind of thing too.
Well, and I have Stella now, so I know my brother, he lives like 5 minutes away from me, so he will sometimes offer to come and like walk my dog if I'm feeling bad, which is
Aw.
hands down the nicest thing ever.
Yeah.
That means Stella doesn't have to suffer and I don't have to like pull myself out of bed.
Definitely.
But this is definitely 6th season, so everyone take care of yourself. And
Yes, a lot of vitamin C.
I have those emergencies if you want to do a funny little.
Should we do a dry shot of emergency?
Oh my God. Hold on. Pause.
Oh no.
Pause to future self.
Pausing.
Okay, now that I'm back. So a few years ago, kind of at the start of COVID, I think, I used to get these little like effervescent emergency tablets. Emergency sponsor us, please.
Is that vitamin C?
Yeah. And my mom, I would kind of interchange. So this is a little effervescent one that you're supposed to put in a drink.
What does effervescent mean?
They bubble. So my mom,
Fizzy one.
yeah, I also would get the chewables. And I guess my mom one time thought that these were chewable. So she just popped it in her mouth.
Are you
And
gonna make
then-
us chew it right now?
Yeah, so we're splitting one, so we shouldn't foam at the mouth quite as terribly as she did. But it's been hands down, one of my favorite experiences. So this is just kind of a clue in for people that listen to our podcast but don't watch the YouTube. This might be a YouTube specific. You ready? Cheers it.
I'm kind of scared.
I mean, don't be scared, just...
Do I chew it?
Oh my God! You know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of Pop Rocks.
Yeah, that wasn't so bad.
Let me tell my mom.
Wait, I missed a piece.
I'm gonna tell my mom that wasn't nearly as bad as she made it out to be.
We only had a half.
A whole one might have been a little bit worse. I can still feel it like bubbling going down my throat. Do you remember when we were kids and there was the whole thing? I know at one point in time, it went around like my high school or something,
Oh.
or maybe my middle
horrible.
school, that there was a girl who used to put like Pop Rocks in her mouth to give guys blowjobs.
What? I did actually hear about that, but I thought it was like a rumor, like no one actually did it.
Someone else brought up the other day the crazy rumor that just popped up out of nowhere.
Oh man.
And he was like homeschooled and he heard about it too. So the whole rumor that Marilyn Manson had ribs removed so he could give himself head, like this was before the internet was huge. How did that rumor become nationwide so quickly?
Magazines?
Would they have put that in a magazine?
Wait, what was the year?
I don't remember, but I just know like at one point in time it was kind of a commonly accepted thing that Marilyn Manson had ribs removed. And I don't think he ever actually did. I think that was a complete falsity.
They probably talked shit back then.
Maybe. So we know the
Right.
last 2 episodes we've talked about dating accounts and how to, I'm so sorry for the sniffles. That's bugging me.
It's not even that noticeable.
So I know the last 2 episodes we've talked about kind of how to revamp your dating profile to make that amazing, how to
How to
approach
women.
women in public. This week we thought we would talk on some first date ideas.
Yes, I think that's a really good idea. We've kind of given you how to approach women, how to talk to them, the right pickup lines even. Now it's time to actually put it into action and take her somewhere, and but do
Yeah.
it the right way.
And I feel like the first date is one of those that it's absolutely 100% a make or break.
Make or break. It's your
Right?
first impression. It's everything. Like, you need to look nice. You need to be well pampered, I think. Well groomed. Also, depending on the date. It really depends on the date.
Well, I would think that that should just kind of be a standard. Like I know you and I.
Yeah, like, but you don't need to be all suit and tie.
Well,
But,
we
like,
we do a lot to take care of ourselves on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to keep our appearance up. I wouldn't go quite so far to say we're like high maintenance,
No.
but we
No.
both definitely put in the time and effort into our appearance. So I think, guys, if you're going for like the super casual, low profile woman who isn't as high maintenance, I mean, absolutely match the vibes. And I think it's
Yeah.
important to be authentic and to be yourself.
Definitely be authentic also. And also, depending on what you're looking to attract to, kind of dress the part. And honestly, always have your hair done, have your hair cut,
Guys.
clean. Like, you can have a beard, but like shape it up.
Yeah, just be
Smell
well
nice.
groomed.
Yeah, smell nice.
Smell is a super
Smell
important
nice,
thing.
dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like a ton of cologne
me either. Me
on
either.
a date, so definitely keep the Axe body spray vibe
Keep that shit at home.
super far away
Throw it
from
in the
us.
trash.
But like
We
a
are not in
good
2009 anymore.
a good masculine scent. I think
Yeah,
is-
please spend more than $25 on your cologne.
Well, I mean, do the best that you can. I think if you're,
Buy a good cologne.
I mean, it should
It'll be worth it.
that should be one of those things that you invest in because
Yes.
it's not like
Yes. As a
it's
man,
something you have to wear every single day. But
yeah, I feel like us as women invest in a lot of stuff. For men, if you're gonna invest in anything, cologne, and make sure you always have your hair cut too.
well,
I like your
the
hair-
well
your hair-
groomed.
Yeah.
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 Jason Momoa can pull off that sexy, like,
Jason Momoa can do whatever he wants.
I mean, he looks sometimes like he hasn't showered in a week, but I feel like that's kind of a look that works for him because probably he hasn't showered in a week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jason Momoa also just looks like he smells like pure man.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is that like a little like, yeah, it's not musty, but you know what I'm saying, like, like just, it's pheromones, man. Like
Oh.
man smell.
So I heard
It's not bo. It's not.
I either heard, oh my God, musty is not the right word to use. So I think it was like an article that I was reading that was talking about like one of the theories behind like modern infertility is the fact that we all cover up our natural pheromones, our natural smells. So you cover them up by like showering every single day, multiple times a day for some
I have
people.
heard that.
You wear cologne, you have laundry sheets, laundry detergent. So like everything that you come in contact with masks your natural pheromones.
So you think that
if
disturbs
you,
our bodies?
well,
like,
yeah,
fertility?
because, well, no. So I think like the smell of those pheromones on like a biological level, if you like the way someone smells, I think that's supposed to be a sign of genetic compatibility. What did I do?
No, I burped.
Oh my God.
I thought you could hear it.
Goodness gracious. So
Goodness gracious.
if you
Okay, Grandma.
if you like the way someone smells, I think that's supposed to be a sign of genetic compatibility. We're gonna come back in and she's gonna have like tear marks down her face. Oh my God, don't make me laugh too much. I'm gonna cough.
The burp wasn't even funny. It was like you were trying to save it. You're like, you're going like, goodness gracious.
So
Okay. I'm so sorry.
I think natural pheromones are like the way someone smells. That is if you like the way someone smells after like a workout or after the gym, I think that's supposed to be an indication of genetic compatibility.
Really,
So
I've never
they're-
heard of it in that way. I just know that pheromones are huge in attracting. Have you seen those like ads on Instagram or TikTok where it's literally like
Pheromone
they
spray?
have pheromone spray?
Yeah, that's super weird to
Isn't
me.
it weird? I also heard, and I heard this. It's not me. That some girls like in the astrology world, there's a thing, like a spell
boy.
kind of thing,
Ooh,
where you
witchy
take
stuff.
like vagina
Uh-huh.
juices
Okay.
and you wipe them on your neck before you go out on a date, and that's supposed to attract men because the natural pheromone. There's no really smell to it, but it's like a natural pheromone kind of. I don't know.
I'm having a Steve Harvey moment. You know when people say stuff on his show and he's just like,
Stares into the crowd. Yeah, I'm telling you, I didn't come up with it.
so girls,
not my spell.
girls that are in our lives that listen to our podcast, if you do this, let us know because that's super interesting. But yeah, so
never done
if
that.
you've like smelled like your brother, your siblings, or like a cousin's like dirty shirt when they've like sweated it and you're like, oh, that smells terrible.
Disgusting.
It's because you're not genetically compatible with that person, as opposed to someone that you're like,
Oh, there's some men that I've been like compatible with that I would literally lick the sweat off of them. After in a workout, I think it's so hot.
I think that's
Because I was so attracted to them.
I think it's an important thing. Well, and it's not just attraction, but there's probably like a biological thing that your body's like, I can mate with this person.
Right. Yeah.
So that's super interesting. So first date, absolutely be yourself, be authentic, but also there's nothing wrong with being the best version of yourself.
Agreed.
So I think well-groomed men and women. And that's not to say if you're not the type of girl to like get your nails done and stuff that you have to like.
No, you don't need to do that. I actually just for the first time got my nails done in like 6 months. Like you don't need to have your nails done. Just keep yourself clean.
I keep
smell
mine
nice.
done, but it's so I can scratch Stella's butt. She really likes.
Stella butt.
She likes the scritches with the nice nails. So I keep my nails long for my dog. And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Dude, I love it.
So we've come up with some really cute. Everyone seems to be loving the do and do not version of what we're doing for our dating 101.
Absolutely.
So
and honestly, like a tip from me: don't do the same old thing that you do with like every girl. Kind of like also kind of read the girl that you're taking out and see what she would
so
like.
you're not a fan of a routine.
Not necessarily. Like, definitely take her into scenarios that you're comfortable in, like where you can be yourself. Like, say this guy's a golfer, and he invites her, like, "Hey, you want to go to like a driving range?" Like, what do you think about that kind of thing?
I mean, I would think if you're on her profile or you meet her in person, I think trying to pick something that's more specific to an activity that she likes to do for the first date.
Yeah.
And then I think it would be amazing for as the second date to be like, okay, so we got to do something you were comfortable with and in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Let's do something within my comfort zone.
Right.
I'm not a big golfer. I've been on a handful of golf dates, and I can tell you that those are probably not the best dates because I am a freakishly competitive person.
So am I. I get so mad when I play golf. Dude.
So I end up getting very frustrated, and then
especially
unfortunately,
when it comes to putting,
unfortunately for the guy, there's like no salvaging it, right?
you're just taking the club and just. Ah!
I don't
like, this is going great, isn't it?
I don't quite Happy Gilmore it,
I do, dude. God, I get so mad.
but those aren't my favorite dates. But I would think if you see a girl, especially on the online dating thing, they can put their interests and their activities.
Yeah.
I think finding something that is kind of creative. So we have a couple of like do's and don'ts if you meet a girl in person, or if she doesn't quite have any like interests on her dating page.
Right. Some good generic dates
I know
that are all encompassing.
One of my favorite for a very first date, especially if it's someone I don't know that well, is coffee. Or if you're not a caffeine drinker, like a smoothie. But I personally don't like to bring alcohol into like a first date because I think it can mask your personality. And I think it's really important. Like, yes, I understand there are nerves that are involved and some people are nervous. But sometimes those nerves are good things. Like, you're nervous because you're excited.
That's true. And from my point of view, because y'all know, like we said in the other episodes, that I like dinner and drinks for a first date. I don't mind that. And some people with like social anxiety, or when I meet a new person, I always feel like I need to act a certain way or I can't be myself, and that's my own fault. But so drinks help me just loosen up, not think so much, not overthink about, I don't know, everything that I would say to him or whatever. And so that's why I like that. It could go either way, but if you're a lightweight as a woman, please don't go to a dinners and drinks.
Well,
or
one of our friends
handle
that
your
we want to
liquor.
have on the podcast soon, I met him on one of the like online dating things, but he said that he has had 2 girls that threw up in his car on a first date.
On a first date.
First date.
And as a woman, you should know if you can handle
Kind
that
of
or not.
nervous.
Like, dude, so nervous
So
you throw
nervous
up in the
that
back
I
of his
throw
car.
up in the front of his car. This guy, and one of the girls, I guess, like invited him up at the end of the night. He was like,
Oh, red flag.
no.
After throwing up in his car?
Yeah, she was like, hey, might as well get something out of this, right?
Ew.
Which, I mean, kudos to him, because I know a lot of guys who'd be like,
Fuck it.
listen.
Just brush your teeth.
Yeah. So I think coffee and smoothie. I know you're a big fan of the dinner and drinks.
Yep, it just helps loosen me up. And whatever like is more comfortable for you.
And
you
I
know?
would say if I know someone decently well, I would be perfectly fine with dinner and drinks. But I kind of have one of those highly anxious personalities. So I think with like coffee or smoothie, like the maximum amount of time you're going to get to spend is an hour.
Yeah, and see, like, I always feel like caffeine would bring my anxiety because I'm also a highly anxious person when it comes to meeting someone for the first time. Because, you know, when you meet them, you have to like read energies and
You
just
could
kind
also
of
get like a chai tea. You can get the low caffeine. I just,
True.
my
Yeah.
point of
Or
it
matcha
is
or
like,
something.
is the low pressure, low stress.
Yeah.
Because also in my mind, like if I'm spending time with a guy, if it goes horribly wrong and it's a $5 coffee, whatever. But if it's now, you know, $100+ for dinner and drinks, it kind of makes it a little more awkward to dip if it turns into an awkward bad thing.
That's true.
Which I can tell
But
a
that
story.
would also impress me a lot more if he would take me out for dinner and drinks and then pay, you know,
Well, yeah.
100,
I,
150 bucks for dinner and drinks.
I had
And then you can decide too if the vibe is fun. If you're still having a good time, you can go out and have more drinks or something. Like go.
Well, that's you can always continue the
kind-
night.
yeah, and-
But I feel like sometimes you should end it when it's ending on a high note.
I know, and that's where I fuck
Because
up.
I've had a few situations with guys where when we drinks before are amazing, dinner is amazing. We go to get some drinks afterward. People get sloppy. People's friends are involved.
Now-
drinks get spilled all over me
And I do
in
wanna
my
touch on
shoe
that.
and on my purse.
Because being from up north, I have had a lot of people tell me that I can hold my alcohol, hold my liquor. Like I can
Must
drink.
be nice.
I mean, whatever. Like I can drink some people
Trying
under
to
the
be
table,
like you.
quote unquote. But I also, I think I do this subconsciously. But I also like to like take the night further and then maybe go out for like more cocktails after dinner, just to kind of see how he can hold his liquor too. Because if you get into a state of where it's like, and I always drive separate to these things. I never meet him anywhere, let him drive me. I always make sure I'm good and drive myself separately.
See, and that's where
For
I
that
guess
instance.
in our age, we have a little bit of an age difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
if
If I'm doing dinner and drinks with a man, I want to be picked up. I want the door open for
God,
me.
no.
I want
God,
the
no,
full
you're not knowing
experience.
where I live.
But
until I know.
that's why like I don't do dinner and drinks
Gotcha.
as a first date. It's you know, you kind of miss
So
out
you
on
have him
that
pick
whole.
you up for coffee?
No.
Okay.
So coffee is like the first meet for me, and that's where I can like kind of get to know them,
Mm-hmm.
get to make sure that they're probably not a serial killer or something. Conversation's going to be good. And I mean, years ago, I had the world's worst first date, and I met the guy for dinner and drinks. And he spent the entire night on his phone. So I
the worst.
was third wheeling this date with this man who, as we're sitting there at dinner, he's just doing one of these. And I was trying to have a conversation, and it's so awkward to have this like one-way conversation. If you're on a first date, that phone should be flipped over. That should not come out. If the phone comes out, that's a red flag.
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
we just say that's a red flag? So this man,
Yeah, face down on the table or in your pocket, please.
I finally, part of the way through, I was like, I'm going to make just some
Say something
weird
crazy.
ass statement. So I made some crazy statement, expecting him to be like, whoa. And he was just like, oh, yeah. So I got up, went to the server, gave them some money for like the drinks. I was like, please cancel my dinner. I'm going to go ahead and go. And the server was like, oh my gosh, yeah, because I'm not just going to like
Right. I would do that
straight
too.
up dip. So I went up to the server. I think I gave him like a 20 and I was like, here, this is for my drink. Please cancel my dinner. You can either keep this or you can apply it toward the bill. Completely up to you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at that point, like, the server didn't do anything wrong.
Absolutely.
So I left. I was all the way home.
Before he realized?
No, it's worse. I was all the way home. I had taken a shower. I had put on my pajamas. And I had like just sat down on the couch to watch a movie or something.
What a clown.
And this man messaged me and was like, are you okay? Are you ever coming out of the bathroom?
He's like, where'd you go?
He was like,
What a
are you ever
clown.
coming out of the bathroom? I was like, I left. And
Oh my
I
God.
made a comment. He was like, what the heck? You didn't even say anything to me? I was like, you wouldn't have heard me if I did. You were having an
I would have just
excellent...
blocked him and deleted
I was
him
like,
at
you
that
seem
point.
like you were having an excellent night with your phone. I didn't want to interrupt that or come in between it. So I excused myself very politely. It's not my fault that you didn't understand what was happening.
I can't believe it literally took him. That's like a half hour.
And then he tried to, yeah, it was a half hour. He tried to like come up with excuses about like a work emergency or something that had happened. And I've had situations, I dated a guy who was a pilot and he literally had to leave in like the middle of a date or something one night because of a work emergency and stuff like that happens, but you communicate those kinds of things.
Right.
And it wasn't a first date. That was awful.
That's horrible. And he
So-
definitely could have said something. But I'm sorry that I'm on my phone right now. My mom's texting me about something urgent.
My aunt died.
Yeah, like I'm trading right
Something.
now. Like
no.
like even-
Trading, stuff like that should wait. That should sit.
So we know enough crypto traders that that would be the only thing other
I
than a
know
family
enough
emergency that I
crypto
would
traders.
let that slide.
No, I know enough crypto traders that I'm like, that can be put on pause for an hour and a half for us to have dinner.
Depends how much money it is.
Go to the bathroom and check that very quickly and then come back. But be a gentleman and give me your undivided attention because
Yeah.
that's what I'm giving to you.
Yeah.
And my time, my attention is very valuable.
Yeah.
So the least you can do if I'm agreeing to get dinner or go on a date with you is to give me equal
Get your
attention.
trades in line before you show up to
Yeah.
dinner.
I mean,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a marketing agency. I could very easily be checking stats and stuff for clients, which is also important.
Yeah.
But I put that on the table and I say, okay, I'm going to wait until dinner's over.
Mm-hmm.
They can do the same thing.
For sure. No, I get that.
So
dinner
we
and
have,
drinks.
yeah, we've got, what we do not like is Netflix and chill.
Yeah, I never do that. And you know you should not do that on a first date.
If a guy is inviting me over to his
if
house
you're over
for a
the age of
first
20,
date,
you know that's not a good
if you're
date
under
idea.
the age of 20, don't be inviting some girl to your mama's house to watch movies
It's so weird.
for a first date.
Go mini golfing. Go to the beach.
Do better.
go
Natural
learn
History
something.
Museum. Go to a museum.
Yeah, go learn some.
Go do something fun together.
Yeah.
Do not do the whole, what do you want to do?
Yeah, whatever you want to do, I'm down. Like, don't make it her idea. You're
No, I
planning
hate
the
that.
date.
Yeah.
You are planning the date.
There would be one thing to ask, hey, there are a couple of restaurants that I'm thinking of. Do you have a preference?
Give her some options.
I have a whole laundry list of food allergies. So I kind
Yeah.
of love when a guy is like, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking for dinner. Are you going to be able to eat stuff here? That's super polite. It's
super
thoughtful.
considerate. Yeah.
Or to say, hey, I know you have these food allergies. I've looked at the menu and there seems like there's a good variety of stuff that you can eat here. Like that is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yes. Very attractive.
You got one of these recently and I know you absolutely hated it because you sent us the message. So I'm going to let you do the...
Yeah. So, let's see. What did I post? I posted something like...
You're watching a football game.
That's right. That's right. I was going to... Yeah, that's what it was. I was going to hang out with... I was looking to see which one of my friends wanted to go hang out and watch the Packer game because I'm a big Packers fan. And I was telling this guy... I was just talking to this guy on Hinge. And he's like, what are you doing today? And I go, oh, just going to go post up somewhere at a bar probably and watch the Packer game, get some food. And he goes, where's my invite?
Gross.
This is so cringy, dude. And I
There-
just sent back, "Where's my invite?" Like in quotes, like, you know, the SpongeBob meme.
So there are so many better ways that could have been handled.
Like,
It
where's
could
my
have
hug?
been ew. It could have been
Ew.
it could have been what's the yuck.
Yuck.
It could have been, oh, I have a couple of hours free. Do you want company?
Yeah, or just like I don't know, say some bullshit like, "Oh, I love the Packers. I would love to come."
Yeah.
If you need someone to come watch it with you,
Can I
I would love to
join?
join. Yeah.
Yeah, can I join? Not where's my invite? Where's my invite?
And then
is-
I sent no, the funniest part is too is I sent that response. I just quoted him, "Where's my invite?" You know, with like the uppercase, lowercase
The
letters
SpongeBob,
and the
yeah.
SpongeBob meme. And he goes, "Was that the invite?" And I was like, "Fuck off!" Like, I said,
No,
shut
it
the
was
hell
not.
up. No, it's. I think I unmatched with him. But I was like,
No,
really? Like,
that was
and we
not your
actually
invite.
the saddest part. And men, listen up. The saddest part was we actually had a really good conversation up to that point. Like, I actually got a little
But
excited
why
about
hadn't
him.
he invited you on a date by that point?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know. Like,
Exactly.
I would
Like,
think,
we had good conversation, and then he says that, and I'm like, oh, gone.
I would think
Ick.
within like 3 to 4 days on, and again, I don't, for anyone that knows me, historically, I don't do a lot with online dating for a reason because I absolutely hate it. But
I
I
hate it
would
too.
think that within like 3 or 4 days of having good, solid conversation with these people, that they should be trying to set a date.
I agree.
Because I know as
Because how much conversation can you possibly have until you've actually met this person and
Well,
learned something about them?
So I know as women, I'm trying to say this without coming across as like, nah, nah, nah. We get a lot of matches.
Mhm.
And from what I've heard from 99% of the guys that are on those apps, they may get a handful a day as opposed to
Yeah.
us, which the very first time I ever tried to do the online dating thing, I deleted it almost immediately.
Yeah, did you delete it already?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gone. I saw too many butts.
You
So,
did see a lot
but
of
the
butts.
first time, one of my good girlfriends, who's like the quote unquote queen of online dating, and she's very good, obviously, I had like 99 matches when I woke up the next morning. And I was so incredibly overwhelmed. I deleted
Overwhelmed.
the apps. I was like, no, I can't. This is, nope. So I uninstalled them. And that was like years ago. So now, I mean, even when I was doing them before, I was getting, I don't know, between Hinge and Tinder, like 50 on average
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah, dude.
So, guys, if you find a girl and you're having good conversations, I would absolutely recommend to go ahead and like plan a date. Try to set yourself apart.
Just get straight to the point because we're tired of the whole like, hey, smiley face, or like, you look beautiful.
Oh, I don't respond to the
yeah,
haze.
no, like you gotta ask me something.
I
don't
sent
know,
you
something
a
you need
whole
to
host
respond
of
to.
screenshots of things that I'm like, I'm not responding to this. I
Yeah.
like people that ask questions. If you
For sure.
leave it at a way that I can make some sort of a response or an answer. But back to the first date. We love a good planned activity.
Yes.
So mini golf is cute.
The beach is cute. We love a little beach day. No
That-
pressure. These are all like no pressure things.
Yeah, no
like,
pressure,
It's
super
something that
easy.
takes the pressure off of both of you to start, some conversation. It's kind of just like mini golf's fun. You make fun of each other for sucking because
You
everybody.
make fun of other people that you're around.
Yeah,
for
everybody sucks
sucking.
at mini golf, right? So like you either
Yeah.
get really competitive with each other, which is also like an attraction kind of thing.
I know that they
dynamic.
have like Pensacola has an arcade bar play.
Dude,
I think that's a super cute idea for a first date. Again, all of this stuff should be things where you're not having to like stretch for conversation. I don't think there should be really any of those awkward pauses. I think
Right.
you should have plenty to talk about and laugh about. You get to show your personality and your sense of humor,
Exactly.
much more so than I think you can normally do through like dinner.
Yeah, because you have to constantly have conversation with dinner and
Yeah.
constantly think of something like, so
But if you go to like a natural
You know,
history museum,
you
you've
can be
got
like,
a
oh,
lot
that
of
looks
stuff.
cool,
Yeah.
or like, that can spark new conversation too. You can learn stuff
Yeah.
about each other. So
I like that. I recently went to a natural history museum where they had like a gym exhibit. And that's super interesting. You walk around with a person, you're like, hey, oh, which one of these do you like the best? Which one of these do you like? So it's silly, but it builds that comfort level. It
Right.
builds conversation. And then from
Exactly.
there, if it goes really well, you can always kind of tie that into a second date of,
Yeah,
hey,
like
do you want to
go get dinner?
grab dinner? Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Do you have plans after this? I love do you have plans after this?
I love that. Makes me feel like the date went so well. Like when a
Yeah.
guy actually goes out of his way to ask that. Like,
And
that's
I love at the end of the
amazing.
date to have a follow-up of, this was so much fun. When can I see you again?
yes. And we touched on that a little bit on our last podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And what did we say? We said wait like a little bit.
Wait a
Yeah.
little while,
Yeah,
maybe
give her-
like
give her
15,
a little
20
tease.
minutes. You can do it. I had so much fun. I had a great time. Let me know when you make it home safe.
Mm-hmm.
We love that.
Did we talk about how you feel about kissing on the first date?
We didn't.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
So I would say I'm kind of a 50-50.
Me too.
I try not to have rules
Me too.
for those kinds of things, but I would say typically, because I like to do coffee or smoothie on a first date.
Yeah, you don't really kiss after.
I don't
no.
really normally kiss on a first date. That's one of those where you have to earn it with me.
Yeah. It totally depends. Like if I'm feeling the vibe, if you're feeling the vibe, if I feel that you're feeling the vibe, like where I can be confident enough and secure enough in that decision.
Yeah. It
Then
has
absolutely.
to be something that feels comfortable and natural. What I hate
Exactly.
is that awkward
Yeah.
first kiss of it's like, ooh, do I, don't I, do I, don't I? And I will say I've had a few first
Yeah, I'd rather
dates
not at that point.
where the guy didn't kiss me at the end of the first date. So he'd walk me in my car, open the door, and then either have it be like me lead it or just have me get in the car. And
Yeah.
those are the first dates when I leave that I am so intrigued. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, does he like me?
Right. And that's when you wait a little bit. Like the whole like, what do we say? Like 30-minute waiting rule.
Yeah, and then
Kinda
when
like
you get
soft
that
spot
second
where-
date invitation, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he likes
and
me?
You always let him text you first after that
Yeah.
first date, and like it keeps you on edge a little bit. It's kind of nice. It adds to
Well,
a little spice.
Yeah, and
But-
typically, I think men usually like to be the pursuers in those
Absolutely.
situations. And it's not to say
Absolutely,
that if
retweet.
you've gone on dates with a guy for a while that you can't message him first or call him first.
Yeah, do not message him first after the first few dates, in my opinion.
I don't know. I've had all of these dating rules, and I feel like my best relationships are when I've broken those. So
Really?
also,
Yeah, I mean-
just like, again, do what feels right and feels natural.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if
we
you don't know
have-
what feels right or feels natural, follow our rules.
Yeah, pass. Because you can always do it next time. And typically when you leave them guessing or you leave them wanting more, for guys and girls,
Yes.
it's one of those like, you will build intriguement and engagement. They're like, ooh.
Yes. When in doubt, let him pursue you.
Yeah, and when in
So-
doubt, don't.
What?
Just don't.
Don't kiss on the first date?
Don't kiss. Don't.
Yeah. Don't kiss on the first date.
Yeah.
Definitely don't sleep with them on the first date.
Oof. Yeah, I
Write that down.
mean, I
Tattooed
don't,
on your forehead.
I don't even normally kiss people on a first date, so we're definitely not doing all that. What is that,
Nope.
Pretty Woman? Don't kiss me on the mouth. So I know Emma and I work on these outlines before we sit down to record the podcast. For anyone that wonders, we don't just pull all of this out of our butt.
Yeah, no.
So we had a really funny moment today, which was Emma suggesting a first date activity, and I was like, "Dear God, no!"
What?
What was that, Emma?
I was like, how do you feel about a hike me on the first date? I would like that.
He's like, "I don't want to
Lindsay's
get
like,
murdered in the woods."
no. She's like, I don't feel like getting Jeffrey Dahmer today.
I was like, "What's wrong with you?" I like to make sure that my dates aren't gonna eat me.
God damn it. And then I was like, I'm such an idiot, dude. Like, I would get killed so quick.
This is why you need me. And I would say that if a girl has like she's got a bunch of pictures of hiking on her profile, it's not like it would
She's
be
a
the
target, bro. They're all coming after
Oh
her.
my God. Yeah, I would typically, for guys, like girl, and we touched on this on the last episode where girls have to worry about things that guys don't have to worry about in regards
Right,
to the
and you
dating
could
world.
probably be suggesting that, like actually meaning it in your heart, like, hey, a hike would be fun, wouldn't
I
it?
would really
And we'll
legitimately
be
like to go
huh?
hiking with you, and I'd be like, red flag.
I'd be like, wait, what did you say?
You're trying to murder me.
Do you want me to bring my own ropes too? Like my own duct tape?
Oh my God, Emma.
Sorry.
So stick to the public places for the first time. That way, if things go a little awry,
Yeah.
then you can bail. And
Dude, I've totally
so-
gone on a first date on a hike before, and
oh my
God.
You are lucky.
I am lucky to
So-
still be here today to talk about it.
I have a little bit of a toxic thing that I will point out. So typically if I'm going on, I would say a first through like a fourth or fifth date, I am going to have a girlfriend that has a code word that if I text it to her, she is going to call me with an emergency that allows me to get out of that date immediately.
This is news to me.
So historically, and it shows how many first dates I've gone on since you've known me, but historically, that's one of the things that I do. And I have one of my childhood best friends, which this is terrible, but I shouldn't say our code word. We have a code word
Just call it something else.
that's very awkward.
Like tomato.
It's but I have that pre-programmed into my watch.
Oh.
So I can be sitting there at dinner, and if the things are going bad, I can be scrolling on my watch, and then I can send her that message. And I usually have my phone on the table. And when it comes through, I can answer. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Do you mind? I have to take this. And I'll leave. And I'll come back and I'll be like, I am so sorry, but my best friend's having an emergency and I have to go pick her up.
Genius.
So I have utilized that a few times. I didn't on the rude dinner date guy because I was like, I don't need to with him. He was having a very engaging conversation on his phone. I've also been on a first date.
I still can't believe it took him a half hour.
This is terrible. I guess I've been on some awful first dates, but I've also been on a first date where the guy was literally scrolling through like Tinder or Hinge while we were sitting there. And I looked down and I was like,
Are you fucking kidding me?
are you kidding me? And he was like, huh? I was like,
Are you joking?
am I
dreaming?
Am I getting punked? Ashton, where
Was
are
this
you?
a dare? Like,
So I was
why are
like,
we here?
what is wrong with you? And I'm a vocal person typically.
Right, you are.
I was
You're
like,
very straightforward.
what is wrong with you? And he was like, I think it's just habit at this point. He was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't
That's how
mean.
toxic these dating apps are.
He was
too.
like, I didn't mean any disrespect by it.
It was all disrespect, bro.
He was like, I didn't mean any disrespect by it. I was like, if you weren't having a good time, we could just leave. Like, this isn't that big of a deal. And he was like, I was having a great time. He was like, I think it's just force of habit at this point that if I have a moment
You don't
free,
have control over yourself.
I get on these
to
apps.
not-
Yeah, that was the end of
That's
that. I was like, I'm going to go
gross.
ahead and go.
Yeah.
And I mean, now where I am in life, if things are going that bad, I'll just be like, so I'm going to go. Thank you for wasting my time. But I know one of the things that we talked about that the two of us are kind of unsure on are the dinner, drinks / stuff with friends for a first date.
Yeah, we did kind of contrast on that last week, but I know you're open to it. And I just don't like it for a first date, personally.
I mean, I wouldn't love it for a first date. I think as you continue things. So I love seeing people in their natural element.
Yeah.
So I would like to see my date interact with their friends kind of early on.
Absolutely. And I would love that too. And I also want to get, close with their friends because their friends are a big,
Oh, I'm thinking more of if he acts like a frat bro with his friends, I can get out of that situation.
or acts like a totally different person with you than with his friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Because people are going to be their natural self, their most authentic self around their friends.
Absolutely. See, I don't like it on a first date, and this is why. Like, the main thing is because I don't like feeling like I'm third, fifth wheeling, whatever.
Oh, absolutely not.
And because I've been on dates before. Not the first date, I wouldn't say, but I've been on like early dates before where he was just always shooting the shit with his friends, and I was just kind of like
Yeah.
standing there.
That's lame.
And I mean, I don't even remember if there were any girlfriends there or anything, but even if they were, they weren't talking to me or whatever it is. So I
Well, and
honestly probably did.
I know
but
we've had a little bit of this conversation before in regards to like sleeping with someone at the end of a date or at the end of a first date or really just a date in general.
not a first
I feel
date.
like some women will get in their heads, and this is a value thing, right?
Yeah.
So some women will get in their heads that if a man has spent a lot of money on them, if they've spent a lot of time, there's that thought of, oh, well, I owe it to him.
Yes, and you do not owe him a single fucking thing.
No, and
that's so sad. that
more
women think that.
shout outs to Papa Bear, my dad.
Yeah.
So he is an amazing person, but when I was growing up, and this was maybe when I was in my 20s, but there was one point where we had a conversation about dates, and he was like, you don't owe a man anything on a date other than being an engaging conversationalist.
Mm-hmm.
You should aim to be the most interesting person, the most
Yeah.
fun person, the most engaging person that he's talked to in a while.
Yep.
That's the value that you bring to the table. It should never be what your body brings to the
Yes.
table.
Yes, you're not just something to show off to his buddies if you end up going out with them or whatever.
Well, and I know I'm amazing. I have an excellent sense of humor.
Yeah, we're fun
I'm
people.
super funny.
We're pretty cool.
I am a good time on a date. So I feel like the people that feel like they have to sleep with someone at the end of a date, that's really a self-value and a self-worth
really
thing.
is.
Like you should look at your value. We're not a sex toy. We're not a hole to be
Right.
used. So you should always look at yourself with higher value than that to say, you know, my only obligation on this date is to be the most fun
Yep.
ever.
Yes.
And
To have fun.
for guys out
Yes.
there, if you feel like a girl owes you sex just because you bought her dinner, there are
Eat dicks.
yeah, if you want to pay for sex, there are people that do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me.
Starts with a P and ends with prostitute.
Whoop, whoop. So moving along,
Okay, should we move on to the sexy self-care, you think?
this week's sexy
time?
self-care.
All right, ladies.
We want to talk about
Yeah, we want to talk about some girls' nights out.
girls' night.
Yes, because we have talked to a couple of our guy friends.
Or just friends' nights out. Maybe we should specify friends' nights because
So you don't want to single the girls' night out?
Well, so I know we talked on this a little bit, but I think it's the activities with friends minus your significant other.
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely super important.
I'm such an advocate for continuing to build those relationships and those friendships and continuing to cultivate those.
Yes.
Because your friends are the ones that if that relationship doesn't work out,
They're going to have your back.
they're going to be there.
Yes.
You will never have to spend a Friday night alone if you have excellent friends in your life.
Yes.
So we love as like a sexy quote unquote self-care, and this is
This is
just
so self-care.
it's so critical to have those nights with your friends where you can let your hair down. And girls, if you're in a relationship, girls nights out don't have to be going to the club trolling
No.
for guys.
No. That's not even what it is, really.
No. And I feel like a lot of guys will look at girls' nights that way of like, oh, if she's going out with her girls, they're trying to
A
pick
lot of
up
boyfriends
dudes.
will look at it like that, yeah.
Can we raise the men in our lives to be more self-assured and more self-secure than that?
Yes. Please.
If you are meeting my needs, if I'm happy in a relationship, if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing,
Yeah, you shouldn't even have to worry about
other
that. I would be
guys are
doing
not
that.
going to gain my attention.
Right.
They can come up, they can talk, they can shoot their shot, and I'm going to...
And I mean, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but every time that I go out with girls' nights, it's just my girls. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
focused on talking to any men, getting any
No.
men, really. Even if some of the girls are, and I try, I still can't get into it. Like, it's kind of a thing where I need to, like, bond with my women, because girls, I think it's very important to have girlfriends
Oh, yes.
and to keep girlfriends around you. And
I
because
also-
there are a lot of times where women will be with their significant others, their boyfriends, so much that they just don't have any girlfriends because they're with his friends.
Well, and I think it's also
And-
important to continue to cultivate those opposite sex friendships. I
Yes.
have a lot of amazing guy
I
friends.
love my guy friends.
My guy friends have caused issues with relationships in the past because my partner was not very self-assured with himself, and it was just, if I would go hang out with my guy friends, he'd be like, oh, well, who are you sleeping with?
Oh.
I don't sleep with my guy friends.
No.
As a general rule, what's
Don't
that?
sleep with your guy
You
friends.
don't shit where you eat.
Yeah. No.
Like, I'm not crossing those boundaries. I'm not ruining that friendship. I'm not,
Mm-mm.
no. So I think it's so important to continue, as your self-care, to continue to build up those people and to build those relationships with people that are keeping you grounded and reminding you of who you are.
Exactly. Because they're going to be the real ones with you at the end of the day.
Well, and I feel like in relationships, sometimes you, especially as women, we'll kind of change ourselves. We'll change our activities. We'll change who
Yep.
we are
Our
to like
routine.
fit in with our partner.
With his lifestyle, with his friends' lifestyle, too.
Yeah, so I
I
think
found
it's,
myself in that position before.
I think it's so important that you just continue to have those activities with your friends.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you can't bring your significant other, but one of my pet peeves and one of my old friends, she wouldn't do girls' nights without her boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want to have to
And it's
guard.
nothing against him.
No,
at
I just
all.
don't want to have to guard
But that's
myself.
your backbone. Like your friendship, that friend group is your backbone. So you need to make sure
It
that
should
there's
be.
that connection is still strong, and then that's going to be there when that
Absolutely.
dude isn't in your life anymore.
And if your boyfriend is the type of guy who is not comfortable enough with you having girls' nights,
throw him away.
that's probably a conversation that you can say, okay, what makes you uncomfortable about this? Can we set ground
Right.
rules?
That's something within him that he's got to work
But
through.
I had a
That's
toxic
not-
relationship where he would be like, okay, at 10:30 you need to go home.
Ugh.
No, sir, you're not my dad.
No.
And my dad knows better than to do that to me as a grown adult.
No, at 2:30 you're going to pick me up, asshole.
Well, that's one of the things I love. So I've had guys that I've dated who were big fans of the girls' nights be like, hey,
Love that.
Do you want
and
me
they,
to-
and they get like their own time too, like
Yeah.
playing video games with the boys or something.
Yeah.
Like no nagging around, like no women
well,
around. Like,
and they'll be like, let me know if you want a designated driver. Let me know if you want me to
yes,
pick you
that's
up.
so hot.
Oh, I
and,
love
and,
it.
And then we're gonna be all up on you when you get home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I will say I have the
We
tendency
love
to
security.
I have the tendency to get overstimulated, and some nights I really want just my girls' night to just be my girls. I want to go home. I want to curl up with Stella in my bed.
Sure. And that's okay.
So, but we do love a guy who offers to pick you
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
not,
that's so sweet.
not you can drive to my house when you're done if you want. No,
Ugh.
I want you to come and pick me up.
Yeah. But it's not gonna be my idea.
I like the offer. Yeah,
Yeah. You
it's
gotta
a good
offer.
thing to offer.
Otherwise
Yeah.
I'm sleeping on my friend's couch.
Well,
Not
I mean,
opposed.
where we are in life, we usually, if we're going out drinking, we have a party bus or something.
Yeah.
There are
Love that.
no DUIs in our future.
Nope.
So
No better than
we, for Sexy Self-Care, we love a good girls activity. And that's not just girls' night out. You can do painting. They do those like paint
movie
with
nights.
a twist.
Oh my god, just some movie
Movie
nights,
nights,
dude.
sleepovers, slumber
it.
parties. But girls, and this is a little maybe kind of toxic-y type topic. So one of my best friends that I grew up with, when she started dating her partner, she would only talk to us about the things that he was doing wrong. And this is when we were in
Everything's-
college, so we're all away from each other.
I feel like everybody kind of did that.
So she
back
would
in
call
those
us and be
years.
like, oh my God, he did this. Oh my gosh, he did this. Oh my gosh, he did this. So by the time I met him, I hated his
Yeah.
guts.
Right.
I was like-
that's how it goes, huh?
Screw this guy. He
Yeah.
doesn't treat her the way she's supposed to be treated. He's not even on the same realm. What is going on? So I already had my guard up when I met him. And he, at one point, was talking about like a Christmas present idea for her. And it was so incredibly sweet and thoughtful.
Just
I
turns
was
out
like,
to be a great dude.
I was like, that's going to make her ugly cry. That's a great idea. Do that.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, if it's going to make her cry, I don't want to do something that's going to make her cry. I was like, no, it's going to be a great cry. Like, this is amazing. Do that. So I feel like as people, sometimes we can have the tendency to like vent about our partner, about the bad things.
Yep.
We had a conversation with her and I was like, so Not gonna lie, I really didn't want to like him as much as I did, but he seems
So
like
we love Brian.
he seems like a lovely person.
Great, actually.
And she was like,
So what's wrong with you?
He's a wonderful partner. I was like, why don't we hear about any of the good things that he does? So now that they've been together for so long, she's usually much better to be like, oh, this is a great thing that he's done. So we get the
you
more
already
equal
know
balance.
that because naturally we like to go to our girlfriends for things that stress us out.
Yeah.
That we don't know how to handle, or we just
Well,
need
you
to
go to
vent
your
about
girlfriends
things.
for advice. You go to them to vent.
Yeah,
because
when the
men,
adrenaline's running, we're just like, oh, like I hate this dude.
Well,
And
I feel like
so-
men have the tendency to want to fix stuff. They want to
Right.
be the fixers.
Oh, yeah.
Now when I'm in relationships, if I just want to bitch and vent about something, I'll usually go to my partner and be like, okay, I'm not looking for advice. I'm not looking for
Yes.
assistance. I
love that
I
now.
literally just want to bitch.
Right.
Will you listen?
Right.
Okay,
So
great.
you don't need to fix it.
No.
All I need is just to get this out right now.
I need to get my words out.
Yep. Don't take it personally. Just
Yeah.
listen to me.
Most of the time they don't.
And then, yeah, right.
And I'm like, if you
And
want
that's
to
the
tune
thing,
me
like,
out,
too,
you
that's
can.
a good point. That's a good point that they do try to fix things because, like,
That's their nature.
that
And we
is
love
their
that about
nature.
them.
Yes.
But sometimes we just need to bitch.
Right.
Like,
'Cause
sometimes I
that's
just
like
need
how
to
they
get it
show their
out.
love. They
Yeah.
try to fix things. They try to give us advice and all the things. I'm
Absolutely.
like, stop it.
Yeah,
Just
stop
stop
trying
it.
to give me advice.
Yeah.
No, I just want to complain right now.
I just want you to put the toilet seat down. Stop. Like, just put the fucking toilet seat down and change the toilet paper, and we'll be cool.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. Don't say anything. He's like, well, the toilet paper thing was fine. Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Yeah, so I feel like as females,
Stupid.
sometimes we can have the tendency to kind of like go straight into the negatives, especially about our partners or about
Yeah.
people in our lives. So girls, and I think that's why it's so important to keep those like regular activities with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're doing those regular activities and they see your boyfriend coming to pick you up from the bar, pick you up from brunch when you're champagne drunk or whatever, and he's like, yep, I'm going to take her home. Like, yeah, you are taking her
She's
home.
got to go home.
You will win bonus points. But
Yes,
girls,
love
just
that.
make sure that as you talk about the bad, you're also sharing the good, because
Right.
I think otherwise we're going to hate your boyfriend.
Yeah, and you don't want your friends to hate your boyfriend. Trust me.
Yeah.
You do not want that.
Boys, you want to get in good with the girlfriends. Not good enough that you're trying to sleep with them. Let's not be
Yeah, like
animals
dial
here.
it back, but just
But-
treat her good. Like
Yeah.
that's all you gotta do. Just do some like little shit like flowers and stuff.
Treat her like a
Everything,
princess.
you know?
Send her flowers to work.
Love that.
I had a
That's happened to me
guy.
once.
I had a guy do
was
that
really
to
nice.
me. Sent me flowers.
Some guy sent me flowers to actually one of my classes, and he didn't even go to the school that I went to.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, like someone literally walked up in the classroom when I was in
How
college.
did he know what class you were going to be in?
Well, we had been dating for a while.
Okay.
He just knew. And literally, they dropped off flowers, and everyone was looking at me, and I was like, It happened to be a guy that I dated like a couple years prior.
I
And he was
work
just, like,
I work
checking
from
in.
home sometimes.
Mhm.
And I am so anyone that dates me or knows me well, I'm an incredibly private person when it comes to my personal life.
Yeah.
I keep
too.
things to myself very often because I prefer to do it that way. Call it guarded, call it trauma, call it what you want, but I am very private. So I don't necessarily love the flowers getting sent to like my office because I've had it happen to me before and I found it incredibly embarrassing.
Really?
Yeah, because
I feel like it makes some of the people jealous.
it does. I don't want to do that necessarily.
That's not your fault.
No, but it also is like a source of strife and conflict for other people's lives.
That's on them.
I mean, it is, but
I'd be
I
all
would-
over that. I'd be like, guys, look.
I would rather have
Look how pretty these are.
I'd rather have
They
those
smell so
given to
nice.
me in private, but I'm also not a big like PDA person either.
Yeah, it totally depends on the person. Like, honestly, if I'm like head over heels in love with you, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. Like,
I mean, I can be head over heels in love with you, but I'd still rather keep my private life private. I feel like sometimes
Yeah.
when people see
well, when it comes to also social media and stuff like that, like I do like to keep my life private on there. Like I probably, and it's nothing against hiding. It's nothing about hiding the man
no.
or anything. It's just that I think the more intimate side of your life, I feel like is meant to be private and meant to be just for you two
I feel like sometimes people see other people who are happy
and want to sabotage it.
and they want to sabotage that. So when you keep
Yeah.
things to yourself, you don't brag about it. Plus, like,
forcing them to mind their own business.
it's so awful if things end because I've been in a relationship where I posted the dude on social media regularly because I thought that was someone I was going to marry.
Oh, yeah.
And then when that relationship ended and I'm like,
And then everyone knew it ended too because you deleted all this shit off your profile.
oh, I mean, I just hid it, but I would constantly get questions from people like 6 months later, like, oh, are you still dating that dude? No, I'm not. Thank you for asking, Bethany. It makes me feel really good to talk about this again. No, he dumped me.
It just opens the door for other people to be all nosy
He
and
cheated.
shit. Right.
You want to have this conversation with his best friend's wife, Bethany? No.
Bethany.
No, I actually know a Bethany and I love her to death. So that's just, but no, like
Shout out to Bethany.
I am such a fan of like keeping my private life private. So maybe that's why I don't love that so much, but I love getting flowers.
Yeah.
Brightens my whole day.
Yeah.
I just want to keep them at my house.
Just not at your office.
Yeah. I just want to keep them at my house. Also, I work from home.
I love getting anything, dude.
So if you
like,
want to send them to my office, you can. It's just going to be my house.
we need to talk about love languages someday because
Ooh,
I feel like
we can do that our next episode.
Yeah. Because love language is gift giving for me.
Do you
so you have giving languages
and receiving.
So like,
yeah.
I think receiving for me would be acts of service and I think quality time are my top two.
For me it's probably acts of service and gifts, but those are also
gifts is kind of goes hand in hand with my acts of service a little bit. Like if you because I don't want us to go too deep into it because it's not one of our topics, but like if you I'm an independent person. I live alone. I've lived alone here for 2 years. Like I do everything by myself. So if there's one thing you can do to help me out during my day, like take out the trash, pick up your dirty clothes, walk my dog, all the things, like it's so attractive to me because I'm already rushing to get to one of my 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely one of my languages. If someone messages me and they're like, hey, let me know if I can do anything, if I can take anything off of your plate. Like, usually they can't.
And they mean it. Like,
but
too.
if they offer, it's just like, oh, man, you're great. Thank you.
So I think my giving language, because typically with men, their top love language is physical touch.
Yeah.
So giving, if I'm getting my love languages, I will be giving physical all the time. Because I just know that I feel that security and that priority.
I love having conversations about that. And they have where you can take the little test online.
Yeah.
And typically if there's someone that like I'm highly interested in dating, I'm going to ask them to take those because you can make sure that you're compatible. If your partner wants to receive flowers and you give her chocolates instead, like
it's just an example. It's not like real,
it's not necessarily what she wants. So if she tells you, and guys, listen to girls when we talk because usually we'll tell you the things that we want.
Like she wants a hug, but you take out the trash.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like that thing. Like, and I love me a hug.
I mean,
to get all deep.
Physical touch is probably I've got the borderline autistic side, so physical touch for me is sometimes one of those.
Borderline autistic. The ear thing.
Well, and also like one of the things I love about having a dog is I feel like she's so intuitive. So at the end of the day, she will sit on my feet to warm my feet and she's not trying to touch on me. But if I've had like a good day and I'm more open to it, she's just so intuitive with it. We don't deserve dogs.
Yeah.
I know I talk about my dog a lot, but
I love your dog. He's like also my emotional support animal. We love Stella.
The best. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap the episode here for this week.
Again, repeating. If you guys have anything that you want us to talk about, anything you want us to touch on, send it to our Instagram DM.
We can give them a little preview of our topic next week, which is body counts.
Body count.
And we would love to hear. So we're going to have a whole little mini episode, I think, with some of our friends.
Yes, we're going to have a little mini short of a couple of our friends are going to come on, and we're going to talk about whether body counts are relative in a relationship.
Do they matter?
Do they matter at all or no?
What do you consider to be a high body count?
Versus a low body count? Is it something that you even want to know about your partner too?
Or is it something that's going to hurt your feelings?
Exactly, because we do be hurting our own feelings sometimes without even thinking about it. So
we would love to hear you guys. Send us a message, send us a DM.
Yeah, what do you think about body counts? Does it matter to you? Whatever, send it to us on our Instagram at the Pink Flag Pod. And also go ahead and follow us on Instagram. We have a TikTok as well. We're going to go live on TikTok every Monday
There
before
will
we
be
record.
shenanigans.
It's our God, it's such a tongue twister. Our pregame,
Pre-pod, pre-game.
pregame, and what we do.
Pod pre-game?
Yeah, we're just gonna go live and shoot the shit for a little bit, have a couple drinks before we record, and
We'll
that'll
feature some of our friends.
yes. Oh my gosh, and you guys will get to know all of our friends as
And
we
you'll
go.
get to see Stella. We'll make sure she's a feature in almost
Yes.
all of our pre-games.
Yes. So that'll be on TikTok at the Pink Flag Pod as well. And also we are on Spotify. We're on Audible. Audible is now in our link in our bio on Instagram.
We're in Audible?
Audible is the Amazon.
Oh, I did
we're
that.
on Audible. And we are free on Audible. So go ahead
We are
and check
free
that
on
out.
Spotify. We're free on Audible. We are on
Yes.
Podchaser.
Podchaser. I still need to add that. But we are also on Podchaser. And yeah, and also on YouTube. So
YouTube.
get
If
out there.
for those that are just listening, definitely check out our YouTube because there are things from this episode that will not be on our podcast. That will be on our
Yeah.
YouTube.
yes, we're gonna have some bloopers and
Love it.
some funny dares that we do out.
We have so many bloopers that I've edited out
Good
already.
Lord. Yeah. So keep checking up on the YouTube. Turn on the notifications button, subscribe, all the things. Throw us a like.
Comment, share, subscribe.
All
We love
the
you
all the
guys.
buttons, all the things, and we love y'all.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.